Greetings viewers and welcome back to Just Short of Fantastic. This weekend we were hit with a typhoon, so I stayed indoors and caught up on some much needed reading. It's also the summer reading season, so this week I'm bringing you a book review of a book that I think is perfect summer vacation reading. The book is Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and it is a romantic comedy novel. Funny, tragic, and touching, this book was an absolute joy to read. It was a bit weird to get into at first because the pace was so frenetic that I read the first 15 pages or so and then I had to put it down for about a day and a half, and when I came back I was reading it like, who are these people? What is happening? There's so much information right now and I can't remember what I've read. It is a book best read as fast as possible, and the style of it and the content of it is easily bingeable, so as I said, the perfect summer vacation read. You've got a day at the beach, take this book, you'll finish it in a day. It switches from tragedy to comedy in an instant, and the tears that welled up in my eyes as I read the last few pages were tears of joy. Less is the story of Arthur Less, a minor novelist who is dreading his upcoming 50th birthday and the wedding of his ex-lover of 9 years. In an inspired effort to run from both, he accepts invitations to harebrained literary events across the globe, traveling from New York City to Mexico, to Italy, to Germany, to France, to Morocco, to India and Japan, and finally back home again. Mishaps and misunderstandings follow him from country to country until he finally accepts his milestone birthday graciously and firmly believes that he can put his past loves behind him and move forward. I particularly enjoyed the chapter where the protagonist was in Morocco and he was riding across the Sahara Desert on camel so that he could celebrate his 50th birthday under the stars. I really enjoy this chapter because it serves as a time of introspection for the protagonist, especially since the rest of the novel is so taken up with his travels and whirlwind adventures and encounters. So I really like this chapter because it slows everything down and he is forced to have a conversation with himself about who he is and what he wants in life. It also gives him an opportunity to have a conversation with another character named Lewis, who is an old friend of his, and Lewis delivers this monologue about relationships and success. I won't spoil it, but I found it deeply profound and it really resonated with me. Although I must admit that I loved all the characters in this book, they were all really well written, and it's clear that the author deeply loved and cared for all of his characters. As I said before, this is a really fast-paced book. It is marvelously fast-paced, but still full of depth and observations about places and people. The book is separated into chapters, and each chapter takes place in a different stop along Less's journey. Greer barely stops the action for a second in the entire book, unless it is to deliver some profound wisdom about life or love to our protagonist before rocketing off on a new set of adventures in a different location. The novel is written in the third person omniscient, and there is a narrator. The narrator follows Less through time and space, not just in his journey around the globe, but also through nostalgic flashbacks of pivotal events in his love life, which he's desperately trying to run from. In the end, I must give Andrew Sean Greer the greatest praise for a white middle-aged novelist. He's taken the white middle-aged American male, a not too likable and incredibly self-absorbed protagonist, and made him an extremely likable and sympathetic hero by the novel's end. A true genius of the pen. I'm looking forward to reading more novels by Andrew Sean Greer. Published in 2017, Less was the recipient of the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2018, and it is spectacularly gay with a capital G. Throughout the novel, there are asides to greater social and political movements within the LGBTQ community, but for the most part, it's just a simple romantic comedy romp around the world. A gay odyssey, with a capital O, that delivers a happy ending and is far more clever than it appears at first glance. I am overjoyed that LGBTQIA authors are penning such quality fiction and overthrowing the doom and death that loomed over earlier literary gay outings. Finally, we can have a gay protagonist who suffers like a normal human being but still finds happiness right where he left it, on his doorstep. I recommend this book to anyone who wants to feel the zaniness of an around-the-world escape from love. I think everyone should treat themselves to this work of pure pleasure. Unless, of course, you're looking for something more straight, there is plenty of straight rom-com chick lit out there for y'all. But if you're not afraid to pick up something slightly different for your summer vacation reading this year, I highly recommend Less by Andrew Sean Greer. Name a day, name an hour in which Arthur Less was not afraid of ordering a cocktail, taking a taxi, teaching a class, writing a book. Afraid of these and almost everything else in the world. Strange, though, because he is afraid of everything, nothing is harder than anything else. Taking a trip around the world is no more terrifying than buying a stick of gum. The daily dose of courage. Thanks for watching. Happy reading. Stay just short of fantastic.